25 years of media excellence. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. This bulletin is coming to you live from the Joy 99.7 FM studios here in Kukumlemle at digital address GA0993341. Also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country, including ATL FM in Cape Coast, Radio Max in Takrade. It's on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by UMB Bank, UMB Speed Up, DigiBank. Let's go. In this edition, Attorney General rejects proposal by founder of Capital Bank, William Apawu, to refund 27 million Ghana cedis to the state. We have details as the AG presses 3 new charges against founder of Unibank, Dr. Kwabena Dufo. Also coming up, Kolebu Teaching Hospital struggling to find space to keep new COVID-19 patients after exhausting all 8 beds dedicated to management of the infection.
This ripple effect of the hospital being full at the moment will move from being full to overflow.
They will start scrambling. What can we do? What can we do?
We have details as health experts warn of a COVID-19 crisis in 2 weeks as authorities admit infrastructure and personnel are overstretched. In Parliament, the Electoral Commission is expected to present new constitutional instrument next week to amend the existing CI-94 that will allow eligible voters to transfer their votes after participating in the upcoming registration exercise.
Voters cannot transfer within 12 months leading to the elections. After they finish, you'll be left with less than 6 months remaining. So strictly and technically, if you want to transfer, you may not be transfer. So it will mean an amendment to the CI-94.
We'll hear from Parliamentary Affairs Minister and later in sports. And Real Madrid clash with Valencia later today. We'll tell you what to look out for as the Joy Sports team prepare to bring you live commentary. That and more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apawu. We've got also details now. In the Attorney General's office has rejected a proposal by founder of Capital Bank, William Apawu, to refund 27 million Ghana cedis to the state. Chief State Attorney Marina Apia Opare said the AG's office took the decision because the terms of payment were unfavorable. Mr. Essien and 3 others are facing 26 charges for various roles they played that led to the collapse of the financial institution. His lawyers last month informed the court presided over by Justice Eric Chebafo that they are engaging the AG based on Section 35 of the Court Act, which allows for an offer of compensation or restriction in respect of some of the charges brought against accused persons. Court correspondent Joseph Akable joins us with more as we are learning that Mr. Essien has immediately submitted a new proposal. Do we know why the state believes the terms are unfavorable, Joseph?
Not at all, MFI, except the Chief State Attorney did point out that when they saw the proposal, the Attorney General's office came to the conclusion that it was totally unacceptable. In fact, the terms that we got wind of when the issue came up in the court the first time has to do with a refund of 27.5 million cedis. We are told that an amount of 1.4 million cedis has already been paid, and some 19 cars that we are told were recently brought into the country that are currently in the custody of the Economic and Organized Crime Office. So that is it by way of the issues relating to the agreement that we are now being told is totally unacceptable to the state, for which reason we understand that Mr. Essien has submitted a new proposal to the Attorney General's office for consideration.
Do we know what's contained in the new proposal?
We do not know the specifics of it, but we understand that it's relatively an improvement of the terms of this particular agreement that has been rejected by the state, and the state is hoping that indeed by the time the court returns, we'll be able to have reached some consensus with Mr. Essien's lawyers.
We understand some concerns have been also raised about the trial proceedings.
Chief State Attorney Marina Apia Opare made a point again that the state does not intend to have this negotiation stop proceedings because the total charges are 26. The negotiations relate to just 4 of the charges, and so even if they are done with the 4, the state has to still proceed. And so he says whether they are able to reach an agreement or not, they are ready to proceed. And so the court adjourned proceedings to July 9, making the point that if after July 9 an agreement has not been reached, the case will proceed.
Now, related to this case is the Unibank one also. New charges have been filed by the AG's office. Tell us more about that.
The initial case filed against Dr. Dufour and 8 others had 68 charges. We are learning this morning from the Director of Public Prosecution that per the new charge sheet they have filed, it is increasing the charges to 71 now, meaning that some 3 new charges have been added. And the DPP informed the court that they have also submitted all the evidence the state intends to use against the accused person to the court. And so she asked the court to strike out the first charge sheet and replace it with a new one. And that request was granted. They were immediately called upon to respond to the 71 new charges. There are issues relating to stealing, there are issues relating to money laundering, and the new charges deal specifically with falsification of accounts and defrauding as well. And they pleaded not guilty to all the charges, 71 charges against them. The court has adjourned proceedings to the 16th of July for case management conference. Emefa.
Were they in court, Atuesian and Dr. Dufour?
They were both in court. In fact, Mr. Asian came in with his wife and other family members. In terms of the Dr. Dufour case, all 9 accused persons were present. Some few associates also came in to join them. And for those who came in to monitor, their concern here is that, it's a matter that started some months back, sometime in February, and they are looking forward to the trial proceeding now.
That's my court correspondent, Joseph Akable, my colleague there. Thank you very much. Now, let's head to Parliament, where the EC is expected to present a new constitutional instrument, CI next week, to amend the existing CI 94. Now, this will pave the way for eligible voters to transfer their votes after participating in the upcoming registration exercise. The amendment has become necessary because the existing CI 94 only allows voters to transfer their votes 12 months ahead of the elections. Now, Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, Osei Chairman Sabunsu, says the amendment of the law will also allow students who have turned 18 years and above currently in school to transfer their votes after completion of their studies or vacation. Mr. Chairman Sabunsu was speaking at a media encounter with the Parliamentary Press Corps earlier today.
In respect of the Electoral Commission, their own CI may have to be brought to Parliament next week. The CI 94 relates in particular to the transfer of voting. In the original, voters cannot transfer within 12 months leading to the elections. Right? That's the statute. But this year, when we are going to do the registration, right? After they finish, we'll be left with less than 6 months anyway. So strictly and technically, if you want to transfer, you may not be able to transfer. And yet, for the students in particular, we may have to make provision for them. So it will mean an amendment to the CI 94.
That's the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs and Majority Leader, Osei Chairman Sabunsu. He also reviewed that Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is expected to present the mid-year budget review and supplementary estimates next month.
First of all, we took some amount from the stabilization fund to the contingency fund, and then the minister then made a request through the Finance Committee for advances to be made to the ministry, which was done when Parliament meeting was suspended. Now, the Constitution provides that in Article 1772, where an advance is made from the contingency fund, a supplementary estimate shall be presented as soon as possible to Parliament for the purpose of replacing the amount so advanced.
That's the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, Osei Chairman Sabunsu, also the Majority Leader. Now let's talk about health, because Kolebu Teaching Hospital is struggling to find space to keep new COVID-19 patients after exhausting all 8 beds dedicated to management of the infection. The country is currently recording increasing cases of severe coronavirus infections requiring hospitalization, but space running out at least in Accra and Kumasi, including the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, the country's biggest health facility. Head of the health desk here at Joy News, Fred Smith, just returned from the hospital. He joins me in studio with more on this. Fred, what's the exact situation there?
Well, Kolebu's facility for treating COVID patients originally is still at the construction stage. My understanding is that construction has stalled for some time now because of the lack of funds. Our sources say so far a portion of the fevers units there has been dedicated for the treatment of COVID cases, and that can only take 8 patients at any given time. As we speak, all the 8 beds there are occupied, leaving the facility with no new bed. Now, already there are some suspected cases awaiting results, so the authorities know once the results come in, they will know what to do with them. But until a decision is made or the results are in, they won't be able to make a decision on them. But those results are taking too long, some of them as long as 2 weeks, and they still don't have them. And so what do you do in that kind of situation? So this is creating some anxiety for the health workers, persons who work there. They have 2 options if they want to handle this situation. One is to send these persons new persons who test positive to other testing centers, and you know that other treatment facilities, and you know that these facilities are also full. We know the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, we know 37, we know the East Hospital, all of them have reached their capacities, and so that is one issue for them. The other option is for them to also convert the wards that are being used in the treatment of other ailments, which means it will affect persons who come there not necessarily for COVID, the management of their cases as well. In the short term, I think once that facility, the dedicated COVID facility, is completed, we will be able to have close to 50 beds, so we can improve the capacity at Korle Bu itself. Well,
and as we were just speaking to the head of our health desk, the figures have just changed. And Fred, stay with me and give me the details. What does it say now?
Well, 397 new cases. We have 12,590 confirmed cases in total, and we have 4,410 recoveries from this. It means that we have 8,114 active cases, 8,114 persons still being treated for COVID in Ghana as we speak. 66 of them died. They could not make it.
Thank you very much, Fred, from Korle Bu and the latest COVID-19 figures. Let's head to the central region, because the Ghana Medical Association says delays in the release of test sample results of health staff as the cause for the rising cases of infection among health officials in the central region and in the country. According to the central regional chairman of the GMA, Dr. Justice Arthur, he says the situation is worsened by patients' failure to disclose accurate information to doctors.
We don't have a testing site in Cape Coast. So the sample goes to Accra, Kumasi, or other testing sites. Some you get the results within 1 week. Others 2-3 weeks, results are not in. If you test positive, you can do contact tracing. Staff who have come into contact with patients, you ask them to undergo quarantine, then you can test them. But if the results delay, those people also might, if it's positive, will get the disease, but they are still working. So I'm sure we are now overwhelmed because our numbers have gone down. Resources to work with. Now you have to be purchasing this soap, hand sanitizer, tissue, and other things, which usually we're not using that much, gloves and other PPEs. So money has to go to into COVID. So everything has changed. Not forgetting the diseases, malaria and the diarrhea and the respiratory infections are still there. So with health workers getting, people from the community as they come in might not give you the correct history.
That's the Central Regional Chairman of the Ghana Medical Association, Dr. Justice Arthur. We've also heard from the Medical Association in the Ashanti region, and the situation is almost the same. Richard Kojonyako is monitoring the situation in the Central region. He's joined us on the phone. So, Richard, what then is the plan to remedy the situation? I'm asking that we've been hearing from the Medical Association on how overstretched they are, and of course the delays in the release of test sample results. Did they say what remedy are in place to resolve the situation?
Well, so they said that the National Health Insurance Authority owns the facilities, and then the earlier they pay the facility will be able to mobilize funds to buy PPEs, to also buy sanitary items for their health staff to wash, and then the people that visit the various health facilities to also be able to wash their hands and keep to the that have been established. He says, according to the health or the medical officials they work with in the region, some of the patients, when they can be failed to disclose what exactly their history, so whether they've traveled or whether they've been in contact with other people or whether they are even coughing. So they go through the normal procedure. Some go to the emergency wards, others also go to the OPD until they discover that these people are showing the symptoms. Their test samples have not even been brought to the facility, and so that is what their worry is. But they are putting in place, they say that they are the war front, but they are putting in place measures to ensure that a lot of them will not be infected by the virus.
That's our Central Regional Correspondent Richard Kojunyakuna. Ghana will have a full-blown health crisis in 2 weeks if drastic measures are not taken immediately to deal with the rising cases of COVID-19. Now, this means hospitals are likely to be overrun, leading to a much higher number of deaths. The disturbing revelation was made by health experts on Prime Morning on the Joy Prime TV today. Here, health fellow with the CDD, Kwame Sapong Siedu, and president of the Ghana Association of Doctors in Residency, Dr. Bernard Hammond.
2 weeks to the point where this ripple effect of the hospitals being full at the moment would move from being full to overflowing. And that is when we would start having problems, because then those people would start going into the community and quality of care would be affected further. And that's why I say we have 2 weeks to do that. If we don't do that in 2 weeks, then we have issues coming up.
Those issues will be more people dying.
More people being unwell. And yes, mortality would start going up.
2 weeks is enough time. We can turn things around when we now start being proactive. Instead of waiting for it to hit us, then we'll start scrambling. What can we do? What can we do?
Now, they say the disturbing rise in number of cases in the Ashanti region can be attributed to the low quality of care in that part of the country.
Most likely be quality of care because of the relatively high COVID cases to doctor ratio. And the fact that if you heard Dr. Hammond, he was saying that a lot of the facilities do not have the specialist critical care capabilities that Konfanoche has. So those two things are an issue.
We should look at integrating the fact that it could be from the quality of care. I mean, it stops nothing so that we can improve it. So I think it's a good premise to start from. I think that will go a long way to just help the cases instead of being defensive about it.
You have a health fellow with the CDD, Kwame Sapong Siedu, and president of the Ghana Association of Doctors in Residency, Dr. Bernard Hammond there. Now, on the new COVID cases, for instance, we can hear from Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Bedu Sarkodie, who addressed the press conference a while ago.
A total number of 12,029 positive cases have been reported out of 261,119 persons tested. This brings the positivity rate to a figure of 4.95%. Total number of people that have recovered, the figure now stands at 4,468. And the people that are subject to it, unfortunately, that have died from COVID-related deaths at the time of mentioned 16th June, comes at 6. Total number of cases that are active stand at 8,395. And these are people that will be managed on treatment sites in isolation centers, and some of them under home management.
That's our situation as a country when it comes to COVID-19. That's the Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Bedu Sarkodie, addressing the press a while ago. Now, 2 separate incidents of suspected rape and murder of 2 women within 1 month at Kubiase in the Ejisu municipality of the Ashanti region has left residents in fear and rage. In the second and more recent of the acts, 24-year-old trader Abena Nintiwa was found dead and half naked in her bedroom on Monday morning. Another woman has also been left traumatized after a man allegedly entered her bedroom and raped her. The situation has thrown the entire community into a state of fear. Nana Sensumensa reports.
Relatives of the deceased in Monday's attack say some criminals may be responsible for Abner's death.
So this whole area is now a crime scene zone. This whole place. This is the room of the deceased, 24-year-old Abena Nintiwa.
Some inhabitants give details.
It was her turn to sweep, but she was still asleep. So I went to check on her in her room and realized she was stiff and not responding to my calls.
One lady came to call me that Mabna was not responding, so I barged into her room and saw she was half naked and her legs were opened. Though family awaits autopsy reports to know the real cause of death, some relatives and others point to foul play.
Mabna is my granddaughter. This rape and murder issue has become prevalent. Similar incidents happened not long ago.
That's Nana Asenso Mensah's report. You're still listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. And the Ghana Immigration Service has made a massive shake-up of its top senior officers in a bid to reinforce its capacity to secure the borders against illegal entry. The service says the reshuffle is also to prevent the importation of the novel coronavirus into the country. Head of our security desk, Gifty Andorapia, joins me in studio with the very latest on this. Gifty, what does it say?
So, Emefa, let me give you the top 6 immigration officers who have been reshuffled. We also know that there are 53 other senior officials who have been reshuffled. So, the top 6, we have the regional and sector command heads. We have the head of management information systems department, who is Deputy Commissioner of Immigration, Eric Afari, who has been moved to head the Bono region as the regional commander. We have the Ashanti regional commander, who is ACI Michael Kwadade, who has also been moved to the operations department at the national headquarters. And then the regional commander of Upper West, ACI Peter Nkrumah, who has been reassigned to head the northeast as the regional commander. Then we have head of resource department, ACI Kojo Opong Yeboah, who has been moved to Tema as the regional commander, while the Tema regional commander, ACI Ajua Sika Enim, and also the only female I've seen who is taking over as the head of human resource department with the Bono regional commander. ACI Charles Bediakun is going to the Ashanti region as the regional commander. We're told that with the exception of Chief Superintendent William Ando, who hitherto was the regional commander for the Northeast, who is now going to the Upper West region, the remaining 9 chief superintendents were reassigned as second in command. And I tried to get some more information as to why this is even necessary and at this time.
What did you find?
And we're told that based on the experiences from the operations during COVID-19, they realized the need to send more experienced hands to strengthen some of the entry borders, the entry points which remain closed. And also they realized that we needed to be better prepared, as well as with strengthening our operations on employment of non-Ghanaians. So these are part of the main reasons why they're doing this, and it takes immediate effect.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's Gifty Andopia, the head of our health desk. This is the Midday News. You're on Joy 99.7 FM. Our top story so far: Attorney General rejects proposal by founder of Capital Bank, William Apawu, to refund 27 million Ghana cedis to the state. We brought you details as the AG presses 3 new charges against founder of Unibank, Dr. Kwabena Dufo. Later in sports. Real Madrid clash with Valencia later today. We'll tell you what to look out for as the Joy Sports team prepare to bring you live commentary after the break.
Hello.
Why you bed?
It's 5 a.m. Of course I bed. Lockdown too.
Guy, some series that they watch for Netflix. Too much.
You woke up to comment.
Which can't wake up? I've been watching from last night too.
you have data, eh?
Vodafone Adaroma. The too much bundles now be too much. See, Jock, make an ad screener to the Skype call, then buy you guys a story.
Too much data is now double the data at the same price. So you can stay home and stay connected on Vodafone with too much data for the day and too much bonus from midnight till 4 a.m. That's double Ankasa. Terms and conditions apply. Dial *700# subscribe now. Ready?
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. Time now for sports. And when Valencia fans start thinking about this Thursday's La Liga Santander clash with Real Madrid, they will have painful memories of dramatic equalizers on their minds. So one will be the 97th minute equalizer they conceded just days ago in their 1-1 draw to city rivals Levante. The other will be Karim Benzema's 95th minute equalizer at Mestalla, assisted by goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois, when these two sides met back in December. So Valencia's season has been full of ups and downs, yet so too has Real Madrid. With 10 matches to go for each of these teams and the sides fighting for the La Liga title and European qualification respectively, there are no signs of the drama letting up when the historic rivals square off this Thursday evening. So tonight, let's hear out the clash with the anthems of the two. PM tonight on your superstation Joy 99.7 FM and Joy Sports. George Ado Jr. and Gary Al Smith will be live and in charge. George Ado Jr. joins me on the line with more. George, walk us through what to expect tonight.
I mean, great stuff, because if you look at all the leagues in Europe, the most exciting title race happens to be in Spain. This is because for a large part of the season, the difference between Barcelona and Real Madrid has been 2 points. At the moment, the difference between Barcelona and Real Madrid is 5 points, because Barcelona played a game on Tuesday. It's so tight. What Real Madrid need to do tonight is to win and close the gap back to 2, so they can keep on fighting neck and neck until the season goes to an end. You know that Barcelona and Real Madrid are really going hard to try and win the La Liga. That's why La Liga is exciting this season, and that's why Joy Sports is bringing you wonderful commentaries all the way to the end of the season. So tonight, we have Real Madrid versus Valencia. This is an important game. If you look at the history, the first leg in this season already, it was 1-1 between Real Madrid and Valencia. So Real Madrid know it's not just going to be a walk in the park, and they have to work very hard to get this result. We've got live commentary for you. We've got the build-up starting at 7:55, and then we've got live commentary for you. You hear from me, you hear from Gary Al Smith, you hear from Ore Kwampopo. But that's not all what we've got for you in terms of our package for the weekend. Tomorrow, Barcelona would need to respond to whatever result Real Madrid gets tonight. So tomorrow we've got commentary for you as well at the same time between Barcelona and Sevilla. And guess what? On Sunday we've got the English Premier League to wrap things up with Chelsea and Aston Villa. So you have to stick with Joy Sports for this fantastic weekend.
Thank you very much, George Ado Jr. And we're expectant and we're waiting for live commentary tonight at 8 p.m. on your superstation, Joy 99.7 FM. And just before we wrap up the midday news, the MPP will acclaim His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo on June 27 as the party's 2020 presidential candidate and to hold parliamentary primaries in 3 outstanding constituencies. And we've been joined on the phone by the General Secretary of the MPP, Mr. John Boydu. We're grateful for your time here on the midday news. Walk us through how we arrived at this decision.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good afternoon to your cherished listeners. You remember that at our last National Council meeting, the clause that mandates the party to organize a National Congress to acclaim a presidential candidate if he's the only person who puts in the application at the close of filing was waived by National Council because of the COVID-19 situation. Because if you are to go by that process, what it means is that you need to assemble close to 150,000 people to acclaim the presidential candidate. So when that clause was waived by the National Council, it mandated the National Steering Committee to choose a date and venue for acclamation by the party. And at yesterday's National Steering Committee meeting, we agreed that the National Council is the second highest decision-making body of the party, apart from Congress or the National Delegates Conference. So it is an appropriate body which also, considering the numbers, is less than 100. So we'll be able to assemble and acclaim the presidential candidate.
That's the General Secretary of the NPP, John Bwedu. Apologies, we're out of time. Definitely, this will show up later on Top Story and Newsnight because we know that Gushegu constituency and there will be primaries in Gushegu and, of course, Doma Central and Kwada. So, apologies there, Mr. John Bwedu. We'll do more subsequently. And that's it for the midday news here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I am Emefa Apawu. Thanks so much for your company. Living Word with Dr. Mensah Otabil is up next.